And good morning, everybody. Welcome to Elite Zone. We've got a extremely exciting episode for you today. We're going to be talking about what happens in that 24 hours before a discovery call. And we are going to talk about why your discovery call is already won or lost before you pick up that phone. So this is Elite Zone, and let's get into it. Right. Good morning. How's it going, Blake? You're looking good. You're feeling good. You're smiling.
Good morning. Yes, all good in the hood over here. How are you?
I'm good. All good in the hood. Man, just lots of exciting stuff. We like to keep our pulse on the newest trends and the newest things that are happening, and so there's just so much cool stuff happening in marketing for the real estate industry with AI and automation and the new tech. But we're teaching people how to leverage it, how to use it to become more visible, all of that fun stuff. So really, in this, most agents, I think, when we talk about the discovery call, like they think that that's like where the deal is made, right? Like if I can get them on the phone, then that means that I can sell it. But
Mhm.
the thing is that now, we're arguing that this is backwards, right? And the agent's closing at 40%. They're doing something completely different before that call even starts. So we're talking about starting this relationship with the prospective client before the call even starts. And yeah, I mean, just going through what that means and going through different talking points. So when we do say the call is won before it starts, what does that actually mean, Blake? When you hear somebody say that, walk us through what the average agent does, like in an hour before a discovery call, or whatever CTA they have to meet.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the pre-call, right? So trying to figure out how you are going to have this conversation. The conversation that you're going to have with every prospect or hopefully client is going to be different based off of, their needs, where they're at, and what they're looking for. So what you want to do is kind of look at what when they came in, what they're looking for, how they came in, right? Kind of
Mm-hmm.
understanding like, okay, did this person come onto your website and fill out a lead capture form on a
Yep.
specific property? Did this client DM you through Instagram because they wanted to connect? Did they, go on they found through AI, they typed in, real estate agents in, wherever, Florida, 500 to 700K, whatever that was. And then your Google business profile came up and they messaged you through Google or called your Google number, whatever that is, you're going to want to know that, right? And that's going to kind of like help with the prep and being able
Mm-hmm.
to kind of like have that conversation. So, what that would look like, I'm going to kind of go back to how last week we did like a comparison of two agents.
Yes, I love that.
I'm going to do the same thing. So we have agent, A, who kind of like knows the name
Mm-hmm.
because they saw it come in and potentially the price range depending on if someone filled out a lead capture. And when they have that discovery call or that conversation, that conversation might look like, hey, Johnny, so like what are you looking for? Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into that, like dive into that statement because I'm going to show you agent B now, where they know same thing that the name of the clients, they know that the client requested that lead on a property that's let's say 700K,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe they've been looking at that property a few times now, and they've been kind of going back and forth from that to another one, back to that property. So there's the background. Now they open up with, "Hey, Johnny, how are you? I've actually seen that you've been really honing in on some of the homes in Temecula around that 700 K price range, especially the one that I saw on Oak Ridge property. Just curious, like what stood out to you for
Yeah.
that property?"
Yep.
So you
Big
take
difference there.
Exactly. You take agent A, who's kind of just like generic, and they kind of, you can tell in that conversation, might not be as prepared, and someone that actually did a little more work than just taking 20 minutes before the call to really understand like who this person is, what they're looking at, seeing if there's anything that they are, continuing to look at, to then set up for that better conversation. And what that does for a prospect, or once again a future client, is it just shows that you are like caring, and the work ethic that you have of wanting to understand their needs to make sure that when they work with you, they are set up for success, right? I think a
Yep.
lot of times agents feel the same way, right? They want to also work with clients that they know is going to be a good relationship. So being able to just understand that prospect, what they're looking at, and kind of doing more of that pre-prep to that
Hmm.
call is really going to make that conversation even more elevated than just kind of the generic information. So, and one thing I want to say too, when you skip that prep work, it sometimes might not just cost you one deal, but what can happen is it drops your close rate from, let's say you mentioned 40%, right? I was
Right.
40%. That close rate now is going to drop down to like 10 to 15%. So if
Mm.
you think about it, if you take 20 calls a month, okay,
Yep.
that's the difference between 7 deals and 2 deals. So that extra 20 minutes that you're taking to just get to know that person through the information you have is going to help you close more deals. So that's why
Yes.
prepping is so important, and it's the number one thing that is going to help elevate agents.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So yeah, I mean, she's talking about everybody, where know it, right? Before you talk to this person, where'd they come from? What does that tell you about their intent? Right? Like, there's a difference between a warm lead and a warm qualified lead. The more qualified you can get them, the better, right? Intent scoring. So yeah, talked about that. And really then Blake, but what do I do if I got to do all that stuff? Like, that's a lot of research, right? Like, I got to like, how am I going to know where they came from and where they are on my website and get all the info for that? I mean, wouldn't I have to talk to them and ask them those questions? Or is there a smarter way that we can set agents up to get this kind of information so they're armed with it before they even have that first call?
Yeah, so with our websites and CRM, since they talk together, it allows you to get more data about that contact. So let's say a contact comes onto your website, they fill out a lead capture form, or they fill out, on one of the property pages, there's a little box on the side that if maybe they want to tour the place, you'll get a notification. So when they fill out information on your site, you now have all of that filtered into your CRM, which if you have the mobile app, Max for Real Estate downloaded, you will also get an immediate notification on your phone. So
Mm,
if you're out and about, you're doing showings, you're at networking events, maybe you're taking your kid to the doctor's appointment, whatever it is, you're able to get that instant notification. So then that way you can, have your automation set up. But not to get deep into that, you'll be able to see that they came onto your website. Now, if they are engaging on your website after they filled out that lead capture form, you're going to be able to see what they're looking at. That's going to filter
hmm.
into their account. You'll be able to see if they start filling out, maybe trying to figure out what's my home worth. You can see if they fill a form out like that. But the AI tracking now in the CRM will let you know, hey, this person is high intent because it has stars filled in of like, hey, this person is really engaging on your website. I highly recommend obviously reaching out, which you're going to, but that's where kind of like the AI tracking and
Yeah.
having your website and CRM talk to each other is going to help you be able to see the source of like what they're looking at, what they're filling out.
Yep.
That's one way. Now, let's say they DM you, because I use that as an example, right?
Sure.
That could be that I would say when someone DMs you, that is a great segue of like someone's clearly curious. They took the time to go onto your
Yeah, to
Instagram,
send you a message. Absolutely.
send you a message.
Yeah.
Now, what you could do as an agent is see like one, go on that client's profile. You know, do they have pictures of a family? Do they have pictures of maybe pets? Do they have where they have talked about, you know, they're renting and they're excited to buy a home? Like, there's so much information that people put out there that you can gather to just get to know
Yes.
someone just a little bit more. Now, you don't
Yep.
need to know everything because, yes,
No, no,
and
but
then, yeah,
the point you're bringing up though is wildly important, and adding that extra step in there. Like it's all about finding a touch point of, a similarity, right?
yeah,
If you're,
relatability. Everyone
yeah,
likes to be related to.
yeah,
Yep.
like, if you go on somebody's, Facebook page and they're at the dog park with their dog,
Yeah.
and I got a dog too, and I'm like, oh hey, saw you, you handle the business thing or whatever, your intro, and you say, how long have you had your Maltipoo for? I've got one as well. I love them. What dog parks do you go to in town? So it's, finding a creative way to connect with that person. And
Yeah.
really, AI tools are getting advanced enough now where you can pretty much type somebody's name and their Facebook profile or whatever, if you have a link, and just say, hey, can you check what's this person interested in? And it's getting better. But I'm telling you, like, this is where we're going with stuff. I mean, it's really easy to get any information that's out there, but now there's this tool that can extract it and bring it to you.
Yeah.
So, I guess what I set you up there for, Blake, and what I was trying to make the point clear is that for the agent that knows that there's things are slipping, maybe they're doing the wing it method where they're calling somebody and they're just say, hey, I saw you were visiting my website, how can I help you?
Yeah.
They're doing that. There's tools you can use to shorten your time investment into this and give you the edge to get the data and the prep done that you need so that you are the clear choice when you get on this call with them.
Yeah.
However, here's my question for you, Blake. Let's say this starts working really well, and
Yeah.
now I have a whole bunch of calls coming in, or a whole bunch of requests. Is every discovery call worth me getting on, or is there a way to qualify them, just using the data, right? Using the data that you're getting from them on your website? Because it would be does it turn into a trap if you have a volume of calls to take every single one? Or does the system say like, hey, this person is going to be better for you to get on a call with than this person, or this person first, through the lead scoring?
So I don't think that is a straightforward answer. And the reason being is, yes, we have the AI tracking. So it will tell you, obviously, this person's engaging way more than maybe someone else that maybe just came on, filled out a lead capture, and then like left, right? Or versus someone that came on, filled a lead capture, they're looking at properties, they're looking at information about the communities in the area that are listed on your website. So yes, the AI tracking will rate them.
Sure.
Um, and I think that's where you're going with the higher intent. As far as like, should I have a discovery call with this person or not, or every single person? We have to remember too, if you've been listening along and if you are new and this is your first episode, I highly recommend going back and listening to some of our earlier episodes this year. But having those automations set up, right? So that way you at least are getting to those people who are filling out lead capture forms. Your automations are set up to immediately have that outreach. And if they engage back, especially right away, that's a perfect opportunity for you to, of course, call them and say, hey, I would love to set up a discovery call to see if maybe we are a good fit for each other. You know, do you have a real estate agent that you're currently working with? No,
Yeah.
great. Let's, connect. And once again, like I love my real estate agent. She said, I want you to interview me because I want to make sure that I'm the right fit for you and vice
Ooh.
that you're the right fit for me. And when I heard that, I was like, yeah, it kind of is like an interview, right? Like we're going to get to know each other. We're going to get to know each other's, the agent's strengths and what they're really good at and
Yep.
seeing if it aligns with what we're looking for. So yes, I think you should call. I think you have your automation set up where it at least allows you to see if someone responds. That's for sure the person you want to call right away over maybe
Yes.
someone that didn't respond right away.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, you pick up that phone, and even if they responded to your email or not, especially if you have the information, call them. If they answer, fantastic. If they don't, I'm going to emphasize leave that personalized voice message and continue having your automations follow up with them. And then maybe here and there you give the number a call again. And who knows? People are always busy and doing things. Sometimes it just wasn't the right time
Yeah.
when you
You
called
never
that.
know.
And
Yep.
you got to keep trying until they say, please don't call me again.
Yeah. No,
But
for sure.
seriously, but yeah, yeah, so I would just say, if you have your system set up properly, if you have systems and tools that actually are going to give you that insight, you can do some real good, damage control on being there and having those good conversations. But you need a system that's going to allow you to do that.
Exactly. And the confidence thing too, right? Like, if you feel desperate and you get on a call right away and you come off as, like I love the story that you talked about with your agent. What a
Yeah.
confident sounding person, right?
Oh,
Like, hey, like I want you to interview. I want to make sure I should help you with
yeah.
this. You know what I mean? Like that's like it's kind of like flipping the script, but
Yeah.
that's good. So yeah, and there's a big energy difference, right, between the
Yeah.
desperate agent and the confident agent. So be
Yeah.
the confident agent. This whole thing is amazing, and it lives. How is it systemized? How is that process like? How do we help agents with their pre-call ritual, like the space in between? Hey, I got this lead, and I'm on the phone with them. Like, is there a specific set of steps? Like, hey, you want to have this information handy when you call first, or like a workflow that you've thought through for that, or that you've seen used that's worked?
Yeah, so the biggest thing is once again like going into your system. A lot of our, successful agents are using that mobile app to be able to have that conversation right from the mobile app. If you go onto that contacts profile and you hit the call button, it will then track that you called them so you can like leave notes and stuff after the conversation. But to prepare for it is all that information that the system has gathered on that lead. So if they filled out the lead capture, if they're looking at properties, if they're saving or favoriting properties, all of that is going to save into their profile. So that's how our system allows these agents to have those successful pre-call prep conversations,
Yeah.
because it's all located in one area.
Yep.
Um, so that's how they are able to prepare for it. And I guess, more so like you and I being able to educate real estate agents on kind of like what that pre-call like outreach could look like. I know sometimes like agents do forget this part and we get busy, but this really could make a huge difference in that conversation and that message, that outreach, right?
Hmm.
Could give you a edge,
Yep.
and it could sound like, hey Max, I'm really looking forward to our call tomorrow. Before we connect, I do want to just make sure that this is valuable for you about what
Mhm.
we're going to talk about. you know are you actively planning to buy or sell, in the
Yeah.
next 3 to 6 months, or are you just exploring? Either way, it's totally fine. I just want to make sure I tailor the call differently depending on where you're at, so
Yes.
you're getting value.
Yeah.
That's
I
that's
love that.
a
Yeah. Who would
pre-call
be mad? Who
outreach.
would be mad at the? You could template that very very easily and have that
Correct.
semi ready to go,
Correct.
with a couple of quick button clicks to personalize it and then send that off really
Yeah,
quickly.
and if you want to add that into your campaign section into your dashboard on the
Right.
CRM, so
Yep.
you can just say, "Hey, I got a new contacts email. I have my call coming up soon. Let me just send this message out to them." You don't have to recreate the email. You make it as a campaign, a one-stage campaign, and then you just add the emails as they come in when you're getting ready for that call, so that email's in your system forever until you delete it if you want,
Right.
and you
Right.
can revise it if you like. But then you just continue to add those emails, and what that then gives you, if they don't respond, you can look to see, did they open the email, did they see the email? So maybe if they didn't open it, you can say like, hey Max, I did send an
Yeah.
email. I don't know if it got stuck with all of the other
Yeah.
junk that you probably get, but this is what I said. Since we weren't able to connect on that earlier, I do just want to see once again before we start our conversation, like where you're at, so that way I can adjust this conversation
Yeah.
as needed, right? And it just,
Yeah.
once again, gives more for you to talk about rather than like, so
Yeah.
how's
What
that
kind of
searching
houses do
going?
you like? Yeah, exactly.
No, but yeah, and not
And well,
saying that.
I love that too because it shows like preparation, like this, like, hey, I'm actively trying to make this initial experience we have together catered as personalized to your situation as I can. So to
Yeah,
me, it's like they care. They're keeping me up to date because I mean, if you're living in the world right now, running around like a chicken with its head cut off with a million notifications and driving kids places and, the goals and the errands and content and everything going on. I mean, life gets busy, right? So sometimes like being the person that's just nudging,
yeah,
hey, you send out an email and then you shoot them a text, hey, letting you know when you get a second, check your email. I sent you a little note about the call we got coming up that I'm looking forward to. It's just like keeping them informed, right? And showing them that you are actively pursuing the relationship and making sure that they're getting what they need before you even talk to them. So I
yeah.
think that shows a lot of professionalism as well, which I always appreciate, and I'm sure I'm sure you do as well. I'm sure everybody does when you're buying a house. So great,
Absolutely.
great, great stuff.
Yeah.
Before we get into some of these quick hit questions, what's the big takeaways here for real estate agents to like? What's the practical step to actively getting nailing their discovery calls and win and increasing their chances before they even pick up the phone?
Yeah, take that extra 20 minutes to understand the lead that you got. Like, where'd it come from? Was it your website? Was it your Google business profile? Was it Instagram or other social media platforms? Try to see if there's any information that you can find on the person. Now, you don't need to go down a rabbit hole trying to, learn everything about their life, because that could, be a little
You might
weird.
creep them out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
If you
So,
call them and say, hey, I saw you at the supermarket 10 minutes
yeah.
ago. Yeah, don't do that.
But just get to understand them a little more so that conversation can just have a little more substance to it.
Yes.
And just, once again, if you have a system like Agent Elite that your website and CRM are connected and it allows you to see the data, especially if they're active on your website, that will let you get more information for that conversation of being able to say, hey, I see you've been looking in X, Y, and Z. Is that where you are hoping to, move, or are you selling in that area? Like whatever that is, just take that extra 20 minutes, send out a pre-call email or message outreach, however you want to look at it, just to give like expectations and understanding for that call as well. If you don't have that information, it's just a good way to prepare for your time and for theirs.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. All right. Well, there's gold in them their words, everybody. So, subscribe, share, save this, share it with somebody. But, looking in close at what happens before you even get on the first call is very, very important, because that's the name of the game, right? Is being able to build a relationship before you even, start a relationship, right? That's the economy we live in, the information economy, right? So
Yeah.
very cool stuff. Some quick hit questions for you, Blake, just because I got to know this one. But what's the biggest mistake that you see agents make or fail to do in pre-call prep before they pick up that phone and call?
I would say wing it. They
Wing
don't
it.
wing it. They don't take the extra time, and that sometimes can hurt because once again, most likely the prospect is not just trying to see if you are the agent for them. There's probably at least one or two more. So if that conversation doesn't feel like you've taken at least some time to understand, it can unfortunately cost you those deals.
Yep. Awesome. Awesome. All right. How about this one? Here's a scenario. I'm an agent. I've got less than 10 minutes to prep for a call that I'm about to get on, and I got to make a splash. What's like the one or two things I should do before I get on the call, because I'm time pressed and I got to make moves quick?
Yeah, I think that you should just like open up and just get to know the person. If you weren't able to get information in regards to like what they were looking at, you didn't have that information, like just try to get to know the person and then start kind of asking questions in the call, but don't put it on the client or prospect to like give you the answers.
Yeah, don't sound like you don't know what the call is about, right?
Yeah, like you need to at least still ask questions to qualify or even see where they're at. So be honest, hey, hope you're doing well. I'm so glad we're able to connect. Obviously I saw you filled out a lead capture. So I just wanted to see, where you're at in your process. And see if, also too, if we're a good fit and what you're needing. So just want to hear kind of a little bit about you and what brought you here. And then get them to talk a little bit, and then that probably will give you some insight
Sure.
on what direction to go for the conversation.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. If you have more than 10 minutes, you can, call your coach or mentor, or, call us at Agent Elite, whatever, get some ideas. But there's lots of good content out there. I also wanted to ask, Blake, is there a couple of really solid books or programs that you would recommend out there that real estate agents, just good YouTube channels, other things that you've seen agents mention or say have been valuable, or any books like sales books or mindset books that you've read that you actually think would apply to the sales process, technology, real estate, mindset, any of that? Because I want to get these guys some good book recommendations as well.
Yeah, so I think there's so much out there, and there's so many different voices that there are options. So I would definitely like recommend people just kind of going and exploring themselves. But something I would recommend is definitely Alex Hermosi. He's really, really good both on the sales and marketing side. So it's kind of like that overall arching, his own ecosystem of the sales and marketing funnels and processes. Really good, easy read. I think that's, important sometimes too, right? If you don't have time and you're working all the time, you got a family,
Yeah.
you got kids, it they are easy read books, and they're actually like really big. So it's like the text is big, you're not having to squint your eyes. But also he's all over podcasts and YouTube and stuff like that. If you need someone, that's who I'd recommend. How about
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, I agree. Really, really like Hermosi. I've gotten a lot of value out of $100 million offers, $100 million leads. I mean, he's got some really good free resources.
Yeah.
I like Jeremy Miner a lot.
Ooh.
He's
Yep.
got some really good content too, and a lot of his is just like whiteboard sales
Yeah.
stuff. But he dives into the psychological aspect of it, which I think is really, really important. And he's into content funnels and all that stuff too. So yeah, check out Hermosi, check out some Jeremy Miner. But yeah, guys, I mean, all in all, there's resources at agentelite.com as well. If you check out the Visible Agent Playbook, you go to agentelite.com/visible. Obviously, like Blake mentioned, go back and listen to some of the previous episodes we've been doing this year. We've been diving really hard on visibility, automation, how to make things quicker, faster, easier, more efficient, and more profitable for you as a real estate agent. Yeah. And then what's the challenge? What's the challenge for these guys this week before we wrap up?
So, my challenge for everyone that is listening right now is, if you haven't already, structure your system. From structuring your system, if there are contacts in there that you have not reached out to, if you have not called or emailed, or you don't have your automation set up, so they've never been reached out to, go through that list, create a kind of create a list from that list that you have, and start implementing the pre-call prep of like, hey, I saw you came in, I saw that you've been super active, you've been opening up emails, I just wanted to connect with you, kind of see where you're at in the process, and answer any questions that you have, right? And kind of start reigniting some of those contacts that you have in your system that you just have not touched yet.
And the cat just walked straight across my camera. So just say any systems that you have not touched yet.
Yeah.
Will you say that? Will you say any systems that you have not touched yet?
So any systems that you well, that's not what I said.
What?
So I said so any contacts that you have not reached out to, I recommend going and touching those contacts.
Got it. Right on, everybody. Well, get out there and get that challenge done. This has been the Elite Zone podcast, and we are going to sign off. We will see you next week.